Hi, everyone. Children, again, you are welcome to the Self Learning Tool educational channel in YouTube. Today, we are going to discuss about the Unit 1, Grade 9, the Episode 2, Geographical Location of Asia. As you have followed the Episode 1, I think you have the awareness about the geographical location of Asia. Today, we are going to discuss the second part of it, starting from the drainage pattern of Asian region. Before that, I would like to remind you, if you are not yet, subscribe the channel. Please subscribe the channel, then you will receive our new issue or the new videos into the self-learning tool channel. Therefore, you collect your friends to share our knowledge through the self-learning tool channel because it is mainly prepared to make the children island-wide, especially those who learn in bilingual stream throughout the island. If it is so, shall we start our lesson? Episode 2, Geographical Location of Asia. So, we will discuss about the drainage. Then what is drainage? How the drainage pattern of Asian region is set and what are the major parts of the drainage. Simply, drainage means the removal of water from one area to another area, or in singular we call Jalavahana. Usually, it occurs in two ways. One is the surface drainage, other one is underground drainage. But here in our lesson, we focus our attention to the surface drainage. Mainly, surface drainage is set with the river system in any part of the world or country or any other place. When you read this first point, you can understand it very well. The drainage of Asia consists of a large number of river systems scattered all over the Asian region. When you go to the Asian map, especially showing the drainage pattern of Asian region, you can see that this drainage system is mainly consist of large number of river systems. And these rivers collect the water from the land to the sea. And some rivers, they flow into the internal seas. Like that, they remove the water on the surface from land area to sea area. It is considered as a drainage. These rivers flow into different oceans, flowing into different directions. And seas, oceans and seas, both are there in that region. Therefore, these rivers flow into them. Some rivers flow into internal seas too, as I mentioned earlier. Some of them flow into the internal seas because some internal seas also can be found located within that region. River Ob, Yenisei, and Lena flow into the Arctic Ocean that is located in the north of Asia continent. Then river Amur, Huanghe, and Yangtze flow into the Pacific Ocean. This is located in the east of the Asia continent. Then other one river Ganges, Indus, Brahmaputra, Mekong, Irrawaddy, Salween flow into the Indian Ocean. You know Indian Ocean is well aware because Sri Lanka is located in Indian Ocean. That is located south of Asia continent. Therefore, now you can understand these rivers flow into different directions and they collect water into different seas and oceans also. So that is how the drainage pattern of Asia continent is set. Now you can see them, the names of the rivers and the direction they flow, and the seas or oceans into them these rivers flow. That's the main part of the drainage pattern of Asian region. Then we go to the other part of that one. There are several rivers flow into the internal seas too. Then river Serd area, river Amud area flow into Aral Sea. Then river Ural, it is very important because it is considered as a border of the Asia continent, and it divides Asia continents from the continent of Europe. It flows into Caspian Sea. Then you find the major rivers that can be found in Asia region or Asia continent. They are given in this table, and when you read this table you can see them, and their length in kilometers. Yangtze, Huanghe, Mekong, Lena, Yenisei, Ob, Indus, Brahmaputra, and Ganges. Their length is given in this side in kilometers. Then you can read and you can see them. Hence you find that 6,301. Like that, the length is given in kilometer. You can see that because these rivers are actually very long. They cover the long distance over the surface of the land. Therefore, these rivers are very important in human activities too, because they supply water to industries, agriculture, and other human activities. Therefore, these rivers are very important uh, in creating industrial, agricultural activities in these regions. So, next we find there are several large lakes, not only the rivers, even the lakes are located within that region. Lakes means large water bodies. There, fresh water can be found. Because when the salt water can be found, they are called the internal seas. Because mainly Baikal and Balkhash lakes can be found within this region. They are also very important in human activities as well as forming the climatic conditions of that suburb or nearby areas. Then Lake Baikal is the deepest lake with fresh water located in the world. Therefore, two ideas are very important because Lake Baikal is the deepest lake because it keeps the fresh water. Therefore, that two idea you keep in mind, and you will have to find the location where the Lake Baikal is located later. Here, this is a picture of that one, how the Lake Baikal is visible. And it's a very beautiful picture. And when you go to this map also, you can find that location of these lakes, rivers given in this map. Then you find that Lake Baikal is located here. Lake Baikal. Then Lake Balkhash is located here. Then Aral Sea is also located here. You can find that the part of the Caspian Sea is there. Then other rivers, how they flow, River Ob, River Yenisei, then Huanghe. Then India, you find that the Ganges, then Indus, River Brahmaputra. Their location is also given in this map. Therefore, when you focus your attention to this map, you find that how the drainage of this region is set. It consists of, now you can remember, a number of rivers flowing into different directions, collecting water from land to the different seas and oceans. Other one in that region, mainly there are two lakes. They are Lake Baikal. The importance of the Baikal, you know that it is the deepest lake with the fresh water. Other one is a lake Balkash. Then apart from that one, Aral Sea is located there. It is an internal sea and the rivers flow into them also. And major rivers, Ob, Yenisei, Lena, Huanghe, then Ganges, uh, Indus, Brahmaputra. They are the major rivers can be seen flowing or collecting water from this region to the different seas. Then you find that the climate, like drainage, climate is also a very important factor in Asian region, because since the Asian region is the largest landmass, different types of climates can be found there. Therefore, when we study this landmass, actually that is why we say it is just like studying the whole earth, because almost all the climatic types of the earth can be found within this region too. Therefore, now actually under the climate, almost all the types of the climates of the earth we study. Mainly, the earth is divided into three climatic zones. It's a general division, because at present, based on the various scientific methods, the climatic regions are divided into large number of types based on several features. But taking the climate, whole of the earth is divided into three parts. It's a general division, because it is not a detailed or scientific division. Taking the whole earth, it is divided into three types as tropical zone or tropical climate, temperate zone or temperate climate, or frigid zone or frigid climate. Tropical zone means actually the area located either side of the equator, in between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Therefore, that region is known as a tropical region. That's the area with the highest temperature as well as highest rainfall. Both are present there. Highest temperature as well as highest rainfall. That area receive the rainfall from different ways. Mainly convectional process is the main source of rainfall. Then we come to the temperate zone. Temperate zones are located from tropics up to the circles. There are two zones. One is in the northern hemisphere, other one is the southern hemisphere. But here our focus is on the area located in the northern hemisphere, because that's the region covered by the Asian region. The temperate zone means actually the climate where the four climatic seasons can be observed very well. You know that four climatic zones, starting with winter, after winter, spring, then after spring, summer, after summer, autumn. They are visible in clear-cut manner in the temperate zone. In tropical zone or frigid zone, actually they are not so visible and they are also not functioning in these climatic zones also. Then, since the Asian continent is spread over the bigger part of the northern hemisphere, as I mentioned earlier, from the equator to the North Pole, all these climatic zones with their sub-varieties can be found distributed in Asian continent. That is why I mentioned at the very beginning, studying of the climate of the Asian continent means it is just like the studying of the climate of the whole earth. Therefore, we focus our attention to that one. Then tropical zone warm climate, the different types of climates can be found. Apart from them, we take the tropical zone climate types. The zone spreads either side of the equator between two tropics. High temperature prevails throughout the year with the mean of average temperature with about 18 degrees of Celsius, because it is somewhat high temperature. With the high temperature, rainfall occurs throughout the year. Drought. I told you that it occurs mainly due to the convectional process. Therefore, it is very important tropical zone warm climate. That's a feature can be found. Then temperate zone. Temperate zone, you know that temperature moves up and down. In the summer, temperature goes up. The highest temperature is recorded. In the winter, lowest temperature is recorded. During the spring, temperature rises and it reaches the highest in the summer. And from the summer, during the autumn, temperature drops. Then it goes very low during the winter. That is a thing actually happening there. This zone spreads between tropics and circles. Then you can imagine the geographical globe, the Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle there. Then below that, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn can be found. Then in the northern hemisphere, between the Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle, this temperate zone or this climatic zone can be found. It's a mild. Actually, it is the best area to have the human life. Seasons are there. Therefore, temperature is mild and the high temperature can be found during the summer only. As the temperature moves up and down, these climatic zones are created. There is a prominent feature that can be seen there. It is given in the point. Temperature is mild and climatic seasons are prominent. Due to the increase, decrease or drop of temperature from periods to period or seasons to season. A clear warm season and cold season both can be seen there. Then we come to frigid zone. That means totally cold throughout the year. Glacier, ice, snow falling, very low temperature can be found. No climatic seasons except the cold or the winter. Then this is the coldest zone. And the prominent features are the permanent ice caps, not melting, snow falling, you know the snow falling, and land covered with ice throughout the year can be seen. This climate mainly can be found spread around the poles, polar regions. Low temperature, snow falling, and dryness. If it is cool and dry, the moisture level in the atmosphere is very low. That is why dryness is there. Rainfall is not there. In place of the rainfall, snow falling can be found. In some areas, even the snow falling cannot be seen. The ice, glacier can be seen on the ground throughout the year. Very cold. Always temperature records below zero. or the minus. They are the main features can be seen in the frigid zone. Very difficult to live there. Some tribal people like Eskimos can be seen living there. They are also in very small number. You might have heard Eskimos. They are used to live there. They live in their special types of huts, igloo. Eskimos build the igloo to protect them from the dangerous animals like polar bear. Polar bear is a man eater. That is why the Eskimos build these strong igloo houses to protect them from these animals as well as very harsh cold. In these three climatic zones, several subclimatic types also can be found, I mentioned earlier, because later these major climatic uh, regions or the types have been divided into subvarieties and mainly based on different factors. These subvarieties also very important to understand because they have the special features relevant to them. And these subvarieties have been created due to the relief features, wind pattern, temperature, influence of the oceans, seas, like that. You can see them in this table, how these main three climatic zones have been divided into subclimatic types. And other side it is shown where they are distributed. Now the tropical zone is divided into, or tropical main type is divided into four climatic types: tropical rainy climate, tropical monsoon climate, tropical savanna climate, and warm desert climate. And where they are found, also mentioned here, Java and Sumatra Islands, India, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar. Then tropical monsoon climate, then it is familiar to us. Then tropical savanna climate is distributed in northeast India, Bangladesh regions. Then we come to the warm desert climate, desert, Kantara. It is in India, Thar Desert, Middle East countries. That climate type can be found. Then we come to the temperate climates where the temperature is mild. Clear cut climatic seasons can be found. It is also divided into two types: warm temperate climate, area surrounding in the Mediterranean Sea. You can remember the Mediterranean Sea is located between mainly continent of Europe and continent of Africa. Their influence can be found on Asia also, not the total Mediterranean Sea, but part of the sea influence the Asian region also. Therefore, that is why it is taken. Then wet temperate climate is China, Japanese islands. Then frigid. That means it can be seen in the northern part of the Asia continent. That means the area located around the North Pole. Polar and tundra climate. The difference between the polar and tundra, the polar climate means totally throughout the year. Ice caps are there, the full of permanent ice caps. Tundra climate means during certain period, short period of time, the ice melts and some grass types can be seen growing there. They are the Siberian regions, northern part of Asia. They can be seen. Then the mountain climate, especially over the mountain tops or the part of the mountain that climate can be found, the temperature is again low. Especially they can be found in the associated with Himalaya. They are the major types. Tropical temperate frigids. They are divided into the tropical into four: tropical rain climate, tropical monsoon climate, tropical savanna climate, and tropical warm desert climate. Then temperate climate is divided into two sub-varieties: warm temperate climate, wet temperate climate. The frigid climate is also divided into two types: polar and tundra climate and mountain climate. Then existence of places in very extreme climatic conditions can be found in Asian region, because in some areas the temperature is always very cold, the extreme conditions minus 30, 40, or sometimes minus 60 is also recorded. Then there are some places with the highest temperature, something like the desert Thar in India can be seen or can be shown like that. The lowest temperature in Asia is recorded in a small city of Vyazhovsky, located in Russia. The temperature drops below 50 degrees of Celsius, minus 50. That's the most important thing. During the certain period of the year, actually the certain period means somewhat longer period. Therefore, these people are used to live in this lowest temperature. You know that the condition of this place is very beautiful because fish is the main production of them. As soon as when the fish is taken out of the water, they die. No need of refrigerators, deep freezers to keep them just in the open. These fish well as flesh, all of them can be kept over longer period because the temperature is 50 minus, that means below zero. Then highest temperature of Asia is recorded in the Jacobadia in Pakistan. Jacobadia is Pakistan. The temperature rises above the 55 degrees of Celsius during the period of the year. That means especially during the summer. That is also opposite of it. Then some pictures of the very extreme cold. You find that nothing, no trees, only ice, snow, glacier can be seen. These reindeers can be seen because they resist this extreme cold or extreme temperature. Then that is how that area is visible. Everywhere ice, how they wear the dresses to get rid of this cold or to escape from this cold. They will have to cover whole body. And always the environment is dim, that you can see that. Then that is how the area where the temperature is somewhat higher is visible. Their plants can be seen growing, but during the winter, these plants and the land is laden with snow, and even the plants, trees, houses, everywhere. Snow can be seen because in that area usually heavy snow falling also can be seen. Then with that one, we come to the end of the climate. After finishing climate, we will have to go to the natural environment or natural vegetation and the wildlife of that region. Because due to the availability of different types of climate features, even the natural vegetation as well as wildlife, both are also diverse. Diverse means having large number of varieties or species. Altogether we call the diverse. So when you focus attention to that one, that idea also can be understood very well. You read that part. Natural vegetation mainly depends on rainfall. Now you know that rainfall pattern in that area is different. Therefore, the thing I mentioned earlier is there. Natural vegetation mainly depends on rainfall, temperature, and soil type. Therefore, it changes area to area according to natural vegetation and wildlife have adapted to the climatic types mainly. Therefore, as the Asian region or the Asian continent possesses a different types of climatic regions, then you can understand that even the natural vegetations mainly adopting on that one becomes different and diverse. Diverse means having different modes, having different types. Then tropical rainforest. Then you can see that when you look at the heading, you can imagine what is it. Tropical rainforest means the type of natural vegetation that can be seen distributed in tropical region. The tropical region, you know that the area located in between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, either side of the equator. Therefore, principal in that area get the sunlight, high temperature, as well as high rainfall throughout the year. Therefore, lushy or the evergreen plants or trees can be seen growing there. Therefore, when you read that one, you will get the more information about it. Now you read the screen. The principal natural vegetation type of the tropical zone is the tropical rainforest. That means evergreen type of forest. Evergreen means Sadaharita. They grow lushy. Lushy means in full of flesh and in green color. In the areas, high temperature and high rainfall can be found throughout the year because the trees grow very successfully. That's the meaning of lushy, Lushy. Since the different types of trees and plants grow, diversity is very high. Trees grow throughout the year. Therefore, evergreen trees are abundant. That means that they are in green color throughout the year. That is why they are called the evergreen. Evergreen means Sada Harita. Tall trees like mahogany, ebony, rosewood, sandalwood, bamboo, acacia are found easily in Sri Lanka also. These found of trees as well as forest can be found. Best example is Singharaj. Singharaj is the best example for the tropical rainforest. Therefore, when you go to Singharaj, when you observe the pictures of Singharaj, the features of tropical rainforest can be found easily. No need of nothing pictures, nothing ideas to study about Singharaj forest located in Sri Lanka. Then you will get the clear cut picture about the tropical rainforest. Then we go to the other type. The forest consists of the different layers because that's a type of forest because the diversity is there as I mentioned earlier. Different types of plants, there are creepers, there are moss, then lichens as well as epiphytes. Epiphytes means the some plants grow on another plants. We call the Udavedia. Grow abundantly in this wet forest and thick undergrowth. Undergrowth means the plants that grow just above the land because the tall trees are there. Then bushes are there. The bushes growing, very short bushes. They can be taken as the undergrowth. In singular, that is called the Yati ropan. That's also very thick. Thick undergrowth can be found. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, when you go to Singaraja, you will see the nature of the undergrowth of the tropical rainforest. Then a thick biodiversity can be seen. Biodiversity, you know that living different species of living beings. The different species of monkeys, reptiles, animals, insects, fish, and birds, they can be found in these forests or associated with these forests. Animal species like tiger, leopards, wild boar, jackal, deer, and sambar can be found there because they used to live in this tropical rainforest. Therefore, biodiversity is also very high, not like in the other natural vegetation. The other biodiversity is also very high. Then you can see that the beauty of this evergreen forest or the tropical rainforest can be seen in that manner. You see the different types of plants. Undergrowth is there. This is the undergrowth. You can see that this is the undergrowth because traveling through them, the human activities through them is so difficult because some of them are very thick. Undergrowth can be seen. There the epiphytes are there. Lichens also there. When you see that epiphytes, lichens, they can be seen. The tall trees can be seen. The sunlight is filtering very slowly, and on the ground actually sometimes even the sunlight can be seen like patches. Usually leaves are very large. They go in search of the sunlight in this shadow. Therefore, epiphytes, lichens, undergrowth, and tall trees, that canopies, they are also visible in this picture. Therefore, when you study this picture, actually you are just like going into a jungle. You can have that experience. Undergrowth, epiphytes, lichens, tall trees, canopies, all of them are visible here. Then there are features, large leaves, because large leaves why are there even to collect the light patches falling on the ground, because the canopy is very high, very thickly spread in the sky. The sunlight filter through them. Then you can see that here the large leaves. Here also these things can be found here, large leaves. Different types of things can be found there. Then it's a diagram is there to understand that one. This is a canopy layer. That's in emergent layer. That means going to the very top level. This is a general canopy because some trees coming, growing over them. That is called the emergent layer. This is a top part. This is a general one because lot of more than 80% of the trees they grow in that way. Then third one is the understory or the some next layer. The lowest one is the undergrowth. The buttress roots means this one. This kind of roots you find that they are buttress roots. The other thing you will see in the rainforest, tropical rainforest. Then the biodiversity. This the Mongolian tiger in this forest. Then deer in groups can be found. Herd of them. Sambo. Then various kinds of reptiles. Also you find them reptiles. The lizards. Like that, these biodiversity can be seen there in the tropical rainforest. Next we come to temperate zone, the deciduous forest. Deciduous forest means actually they shed leaves during certain period. This certain period means actually winter. The deciduous trees, they go through the winter without leaves. They start shedding their leaves during the autumn. Autumn occurs before winter. Because of this fall, the autumn is again known as a fall also, FALL fall. It is due to one side, the temperature also goes down, fall. Other way, all the deciduous trees or the deciduous forest, they shed their leaves. The leaves can be found on the ground during the autumn as well as winter. Temperate zone locates between the tropical and the frigid zone. Now you know, you are aware of that one location in both hemispheres. And deciduous forest or the deciduous trees are the natural vegetation growing there, or the natural vegetation grows there. Therefore, now you are aware of that one. Most plants in the deciduous forest shed their leaves during autumn to resist the cold in the winter. That means during the winter, no leaves, only the boughs, only the branches can be seen in the forest. Again, these trees burst into tender leaves and blooms in spring. Then, after finishing winter, spring occurs. In the spring, temperature starts going up or rising. Then these trees also, those that shed the leaves, start or growing. That means we say that burst into tender leaves, daludana. That is how it is uh, given in the English, burst into tender leaves, and after leaves, blooms, then fruits. That is how the life circle goes. Because it occurs in the spring, then the harvesting occur in summer. Then you see the beauty of that one. Most of the leaves, they are in yellow color, they are they are mature, ready to fall. And bigger part of the leaves, they are on the ground. That's the nature of the deciduous forest. Again, you find the beauty of that one. That is the picture taken in autumn. The autumn is very beautiful because the leaves turn into different colors, yellow, brown, red, purple, like that colors can be seen there. And after that one, they fall. Here on the ground, you find that large amount of very thick layer of leaves can be seen. Then you see the nature of the trees during the winter, no leaves. Deciduous forest in winter, no leaves. Because all the leaves fallen. Now they face the harsh cold that occurs in winter. Then both plant diversity and biodiversity comparatively less. It must be the less, they are comparatively lesser than the tropical rainforest. Main types of trees can be found there: oak, mulberry, chestnut, pine, eucalyptus, Douglas fir, etc. There are more. Some are given here. Because comparatively, even the varieties of plants as well as species of living beings, both are lower than in the evergreen forest or tropical rainforest. The animals living here, wolf, deer, sambar, deer, and antelope, like that, they are limited to several types. You find them. The wild fruits, the mulberry, very tasty fruit. You might have tasted it. Even in Sri Lanka, you find that it is growing. Then frigid zone, the conifers. Coniferous means actually when the trees grow into the cone shape. It is called coniferous. Because why the trees grow into cone shape? To resist the snow falling as well as harsh temperature or the very low temperature. Therefore, these branches, they act like a roof, very slopy roof. Therefore, the snow is not clicking in these branches. They fall down. And when these leaves are grown very close to each other, like a layer inside or around the tree trunk, the temperature can be kept. That is why the coniferous forest or the coniferous trees do not shed their leaves in winter. They can be seen in green color, but actually during the winter, they completely covered with snowfall. Then the frigid zone are located around the falls, you know it. And most important characteristics is the prevalence of longer cold season in both taiga and tundra climatic zones. Because there are subclimatic zones called the taiga and tundra. They are the prevalence of the longer cold seasons. The cold period is very longer than other two, especially the temperate zone. That's the main characteristic of this climatic type. Then the coniferous forests are distributed in these regions. Now you know coniferous, cone shape. You might have seen the Christmas, during the Christmas period. In the Christmas cards also, these trees can be seen into the cone shape. The coniferous forests are distributed in these regions. Trees grow into the shape of cone shape, you know that. So as to resist the snow falling, and the leaves of them take the shape of needles, very thin, long. Therefore, snow cannot cling on them. They fall down without staying on the trees. The main types of trees grow here are the pine, spruce, fir, oak, larch, etc. They are the types of trees growing there. Then the biodiversity level is also very low. The animal species like polar bear, reindeer, snow fox, snow dog, sable, mink can be seen there. Mink, the white color, small animal called a mink, can be seen there. Reindeer, snow cat, snow dog. Then small activities also given before the ending the lesson or this episode. State the main climatic zones distributed in Asia and their sub varieties. You can remember the table we discussed there. That's the thing referred here. Write down the different types of natural vegetations found in Asia. Then write the countries or regions where following climatic types can be found. Tropical rain climate, warm temperate climate, and polar and tundra climate. It is so. Now come to the end of this session, episode 2. Then with the hope of meeting in the episode 3 in the geography grade 9, we will have to conclude our lesson. And again, I think you got all the ideas very well, and you will be able to understand it. If you cannot understand for the first time you read, you watch it again and again, then you will be able to understand, because here you found that I use the less singular terms because now you are in grade 9. Therefore, you will have to use that one also. Other things, again, I mentioned at the very beginning, to develop this educational channel, you subscribe and you take the maximum benefit of that one. That's our target. Therefore, with the idea of meeting in the next session, episode 3, I like to call it a day. It is so. I go one.